Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Hour. We're about a little more than halfway through, so let's keep on moving along with kicking this off with Amazing Spider-Man number 27. Where we left off, Miss Marvel sacrificed herself to save Mary Jane Watson from Benjamin Raven, the emissary of Wayap, leading to Raven's destruction. This is something that both Spider-Man as well as Norman Osborn have not really taken. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say either taken it badly. They haven't. They could probably have taken it a little bit better. Namely, as Norman realizes that when after Peter unmasked Miss Marvel, realized that Miss Marvel and her civilian identity of Kamala Khan was working at Oscorp to keep an eye on it. So the issue opens with Black Cat and Spider-Man going after Shocker. Turns out that Black Cat hired Shocker to basically give Spider-Man something to an easy win. You know, maybe pull himself out of the doldrums he's in. But it's not really doing it. However, it seems that Doc Ock's old arms are keeping an eye on Spider-Man for some reason. Elsewhere, Norman Osborn is informed that his lawyers have managed to basically explain that, basically say that, yeah, Dr. Ashley Kafka's death during the Gold Goblin miniseries was not, in fact, Norman's. Basically, Norman was not to blame for her death. Turns out Peter kept Kamala's mask, and like I said, Doc Ock's old tentacles are keeping an eye on him, and, well, the tentacles are reunited with Otto himself, who is none too happy with the fact that they seem to have an attachment to Peter. But Doc Ock retrieves his tentacles and well, has one of the balls from Peter's suit that Kraven the Hunter snagged during the Venom and Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day issue. He's also upgraded the tentacles, in part with a system of redundancies, branching those filters through a medium of self-validating nanofluid, a blockchain of consciousness, as he describes it. And he can basically, each segment can become its own drone, or octoid as he calls them. Each octoid containing a self-correcting copy of the whole, complete with Ock's particular charms. But the octoids are tasked with destroying Doc Ock's old arms. Peter and Norman. Peter goes to check on Norman, and Norman explains he wants to be as good a friend to Peter as Peter will let him be. And with Peter stating that, you know, he worried. The last few weeks had tried really hard to push Norman over the line. At Ravencroft, a couple of doctors are doing the unofficial autopsy, as something, though Ashley Kopka's body was officially listed as cremated. Now, there was something up with it that the doctors at Ravencroft are curious about. However, she's not dead and kills the two doctors. Back at J. Jonah Jameson's apartment, he's calling the New York Bulletin about a retraction and apology for a headline of, namely a picture of Jameson wearing Doc Ock's old tentacles under the headline "Ex-Mayor Rampages." The midst of, even he accuses them of exploiting a tragedy to sell papers, and when asked how he knows, well, he explains that he used to do it all the time. But the phone call is interrupted by a knock at Jonah's door. The remains of Doc Ock's tentacles are there. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting start to things. Somehow my local comic shop hasn't gotten the Funeral for a Friend one shot for concerning Miss Marvel's death, but So I know there are a few plot points that are currently a thing in there, but aside from Peter Peter deciding that he's keeping Kamala's mask, which maybe he should give it to her family. Just a thought. But yeah. Otherwise, interesting start to a new arc in the run. So we'll see how everything plays out there. We've already it's already started with the Free Comic Book Day issue, but well, yeah. Moving on though to our next book, we've got Carnage number 14, continuing Carnage reigns. Where we left off, Carnage had linked into the old Stark network, and the new CEO of Stark Unlimited, Fei Long, decided to do something about it, sending in two Stark Sentinels. But so Carnage is talking to his current other, Cletus, I should say, the Extrembiote. Miles and Red Goblin are dealing with the enraged populace with, though it turns out that Red Goblin can remove malignant symbiote matter. Turns out Fei Long has Kenneth Neely in custody. Miles comes up with a plan and informs Taskmaster of it. Basically, Red Goblin is going to try and kick Carnage out of the networks. The Stark Sentinels try to deal with Carnage and fail spectacularly, with Carnage basically taking over one of the Sentinels. Miles, Scorpion, and Red Goblin go to enact Miles' plan. And while they get close, when they arrive, well, it's too much for Red Goblin. Scorpion tries to be to act as a distraction, but, well, yeah. However, Cletus has managed to take over, like I said, one of the Stark symbiotes, and, well, yeah, even basically making Carnage even worse. In New Jersey, Tony Stark is watching everything unfold and suits up. However, Carnage sends out Carnageized armors to at least 3 different followers of his, basically to get them to help him. But yes, the issue ends with Tony Stark putting on the Iron Man armor with the intention of and necessitating and asking Boss to find him a really big stick. Interesting. Though Iron Man is clearly going to be involved, it is interesting to note that Invincible Iron Man is not tying into this. Though to be fair, Invincible Iron Man does have its own stuff going on, so understandable. But yeah, Carnage Reigns crossover is definitely trucking along nicely. Apparently, it's going to lead into the Summer of the Symbiotes. So, moving on though to our next book, we've got Venom, Lethal Protector 2, number 4. Where we left off, Carnage had been asked to accompany Dr. Doom somewhere. The issue begins with Venom in what appears to be a castle owned by Doom. It's his retreat in upstate New York, but fighting off Doom bots, though apparently it's all part of the test. The explanation, and basically, Doom wants Eddie Brock, Venom, to help him in his attempts to retrieve his mother's soul from hell. By stealing files about secret wars, he had, including those on the symbiote. Well, Doom has learned quite a bit about them. The device that Doom has created for this is further powered by remains of the alien artifact that Eddie the Silver Sable destroyed earlier in the series. And in fact, this has been brought to Doom by a former member of Vanguard. But the device is activated and something goes wrong. Eddie can't hear his other anymore. But Doom figures, okay, maybe there's something you do to fix that, and apparently a piece of the Darkhold is being studied in a lab in New York. Cardiac trying to get his Dr. Goddard back from Doom's clutches, what's going to call the Silver Sable International. Venom infiltrates the government lab and manages to make off with the scrap of the Darkhold. The device is once again activated, and instead, this time Venom wakes up, nothing but his boxer shorts. His other is completely gone. However, it's just gone from him, as it's found a new host, Dr. Doom. And that is where the issue ends. Venom Dr. Doom sounds, I'll be honest, a little on the scary side of things. That's a combination is like, yeah, that ain't good. So the series is going along nicely. I didn't read a lot of older Spider-Man comics with Venom. I read a few from the 90s, but I didn't read any of the old Venom miniseries from back then. So it is nice to get to read stuff, and it's appreciated that well, of course, it's David Michelin, co-creator of Venom. So yeah, it makes it a lot easier for him to write Venom the way he did 30 years ago. He remembers. He doesn't have, I doubt he has to go back and say, okay, how would Eddie handle this then? Because this is the mindset that this is the point in Eddie's life we're at. So, anyways, moving on to our next book, we've got Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones, number 4. Where we left off, Ghost Spider had surrendered to the mastermind of her shadow clones. Dr. Lila Bennett. And so her and her clones had been her and SpiderGwen and SpiderGwen were being held in seemingly impenetrable cages, guarded by Rhino-Gwen. But Ghost Spider ends up in Dr. Bennett's primary control room, along with the other with the remaining shadow clones. Goes into her history. She was she had a grant from Tony Stark. Her big thing was clone programming. Basically the idea of there's the common cliche especially in science fiction, when discussing clones, the idea of the clone waking up with the memories of the original. Lately, that cliche has been turned on its head as yeah, but how? Memories aren't genetic, so. But she tried to, after her husband died, she tried to use the process on him, but living engrams are needed for the programming, and so it didn't work. She modified herself, giving herself a cybernetic arm, and what appears to be some additional cybernetic implants, and she decided that she had access to the Stark database and was able to first find out what she could about the villains, the mysterious villains that Ghost Spider was fighting that fateful day, as well as what she learned about the multiverse, and she was able to get. So that's how she was able to get the. The earlier noted break-in at the police station was perpetrated by her to grab the evidence from basically what was left out, the genetic evidence from the various members of Sinister Six. And so it turns out that Lila's grand plan is to use her device, or transmitter, to send a burst of energy through the multiverse. A burst of energy which will kill every Gwen Stacy. Back with SpiderGwen and SpiderGwen and Rhino-Gwen, SpiderGwen tries to talk to Rhino-Gwen, leading to Rhino-Gwen punching the tube and cracking the glass, giving SpiderGwen a means of escaping. But with the creation of SpiderGwen, she realized there were some problems with everything, so she created the halos. And, of course, she still needed actual Gwen Stacy, so. But, she was surprised that, she wasn't surprised that Gwen and SpiderGwen crossed paths. It did surprise her when Gwen kind of, was able to remove the halo from SpiderGwen. But Layla sets her plan in motion as it moves to activate the energy pulse as the issue ends. Interesting, to say the least. We do get on the last page some shots of other Gwen variants. I think there was one where she's married to Peter, one where she seems to be a Viking. So, yeah. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we've got Spider-Man India, #1. Spider-Man India is obviously one of the Spider-Man variants that populates the Spider-Verse. He is from, and it states clearly in the issue, Earth 50101. He is Pauter Prabhakar. So, but he's on Earth 616, working alongside Miles Morales and Peter Parker to deal with a mystically empowered, three-headed, six-armed Mysterio. Basically, he snagged a Hindi artifact, and, well, yeah. But apparently, Pop-Tart's having... He's having that moment that I think every superhero has. Why do I keep doing this? And Peter and Miles talk to him about this a bit before Pop-Tart heads back to Mumbai on his Earth. Apparently, a Corps is a large corporation in the area is trying to evict Pop-Tart and is that Maya? But his friend Nish suggests he go to watch a lecture from a visiting scientist, Dr. Kushal B. Kumar, who basically whose whole thing is about treating the as it's generally referred to, the reptile brain, letting it have more control, basically. Corp apparently intends to get rid of the slum that Papa Turner and his aunt live in. And upon learning that that's why a lot of people refuse to leave, is because, well, they're not sure if Spider-Man will continue to protect them if they do. Well, have to get rid of Spider-Man. Puppeteer, meanwhile, is with Dr. I already forgot his name. Dr. Kumar at his lab in the Jericho building. Lots of reptiles present. Apparently, though, Puppeteer is getting a first-hand demonstration the idea being to let his trigger his reptile brain, but something goes wrong and there's an explosion in the building. Meanwhile, Gary Sahib, the head of Jericho, basically wants to discredit Spider-Man. Get the people in an effort to evict everyone from the slum that Spider-Man operates out of, and start the Liberty Plaza. In the aftermath of the lab explosion, Potter is looking for Dr. Kumar. However, all of his the lizard subjects he has have escaped, and well, yeah, he's turned into a lizard. That is where the issue ends. All right, interesting, nice start of things. I think honestly the only exposure I had to Spider-Man India other than this was his appearances in recent Edge of Spider-Verse story arc in Spider-Man. So, but so I do love me some Spider-Man, some Spider variants. You know. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. Huge shout out to Patreon patron Xander Lee. Thank you so very much for your support. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.